Greetings from TravelClick Learning Services. This video explores the Rate360 application. You likely receive an emailed summary from Rate360 on a regular basis. Well, that's a great tool for quickly understanding of pricing in your competitive marketplace. Today's video, however, focuses on Rate360's online application. Your access to these reports enable you to interact with an ever-changing rates database. It is critical that you use Rate360's reports to validate your pricing strategy. You should not try to price your product without a complete picture of what is happening price-wise in your market. Use Rate360 to see if your competitors are responding to your rate changes. And anytime you need a fresh look at rates, you can use it to request instant shops. After viewing this video, you will be able to recognize the basic navigation, functions, and filtering capabilities of Rate360. You will also be able to demonstrate the procedures for requesting an instant rate refresh. And finally, you will identify the access points that lead to insightful rate details. Let's talk first about how we collect information from global distribution systems, major online travel agencies, and hotel and brand websites. Your Rate360 subscription is configured with a series of shopping profiles designed to collect rates and availability on a regular scheduled basis from your selection of properties, websites, date ranges, lengths of stay, and so on. This is an example of a basic subscription that consists of 3 shopping profiles. The first shops on a daily, weekday basis, collecting rates and availability for the next 14 days. The next one shops weekly, collecting data for the next 28 days. And the third is a monthly profile, expanding the shopping range yet again, this time for 90 days. Once these shopping profiles have collected the data, Rate360 produces and emails your rate summary, but it also feeds all information into the Rate360 database. This is what you can access with the easy-to-use applications we are exploring today. This is just an example. Your subscription is likely a variation of this. You may have even more profiles configured to collect data. This ability to interact with the complete rates database provides you with more detailed analytic monitoring of rates and availability anytime you wish. Now you can take more informed, more decisive action on your pricing strategy. And, you will see shortly, you can easily request instant rate shops to supplement, whenever necessary, your profile's scheduled shops. For our session today, we will explore a sample property, the Elegance Hotel. This fictitious property is located in the United States, and all rates are displayed in US dollars. When you log in, you will see your market's pricing in your local currency. Additionally, the information we are viewing today is archived data, and it was collected in September of 2014. Access Rate360 from iHotelier. In the Business box, click Analyze Performance, Business Intelligence, and then Rate360. You have the ability to manage your own subscription. Click the Manage Subscription button to access the custom shopping and reporting environment. There, among other things, you can make changes to your competitive sets if necessary. Rate360 Help is always as close as a click. This Help button is located on this toolbar on each tab. Click it to access online help for that page. Click this button on any tab to print a hard copy of that report. Click any of the 5 tabs in the application to navigate to that report. The date that is shown reflects the most recent refresh to your database. Your subscription shopping profiles determine the frequency of your shops and data refresh. Click the Export link to download a table into Adobe PDF or to Excel. The footer on each page displays your current competitive set and explains the colors and symbols used throughout Rate360. Filters found in the left border on each page allow you to monitor and validate your pricing strategy according to any criteria that you apply to the report. Change all the data on the screen instantly by applying these filters. The selection of filters varies from one report to another. Some common filters include the source filter. This lists the booking sources configured in your subscription. Some reports require selecting any one source at a time, while others enable multiple selection. LOS, or length of stay, displays the price for your selected length of stay for each arrival date. Guests displays the price for that number of guests for each arrival date. Your choices in these two filters are limited to the parameters configured in your subscription. The ability to isolate displays to specific rate type and room types help you fine-tune your pricing strategies. Lowest displays the lowest rate regardless of any discount, conditions, or restrictions. Loyalty is the lowest publicly available rate offered specifically to loyalty members. Best flexible. These are rates offered for general availability without qualification or advance purchase requirements and with no more than a 48-hour cancellation policy. Discounted are publicly available rates offered with an auto club membership, senior rates, government or military rates. Also included here are generic corporate rates, those with an ID that may be required at check-in, but does not include contracted or company-specific rates. Non-refundable would be rates that are specifically restricted due to a non-refundable condition. The system scans the rate description for keywords such as cannot be refunded or forfeit deposit and so on. You can review these rate type descriptions anytime you wish in online help. With this filter, pick and choose any combination of these room types. Apartment multi-bedroom represents units that include apartments, 2 or more bedroom suites, and residences. Deluxe rooms are described as premium, deluxe, executive, superior, or other similar names. Standard rooms would be those described as anything other than these other choices. And suites represent rooms described as junior suites, en-suites, or one-bedroom suites. Here again, you can review these room type descriptions anytime in online help. As you apply various filter settings, you may wish to use the Page Options function. You can access it by clicking this icon on the tab's toolbar. Here you can create, save, and apply custom views, as many as you wish, on each tab in the application. Let's explore the Pricing tab. This report provides a quick snapshot of your lowest publicly available rates compared to your competitive set, shopped on your selected source, for the current month, or any other time period you wish to view. It enables you to verify that you are priced competitively and that your rates are aligned with your occupancy forecasts for key dates or time periods. There are 4 views available. The calendar view is the default view. Of course, you may set any of the other views as your preferred default. The calendar view is great for identifying possible day-of-week patterns. For example, you might sense that you are missing out on an opportunity to push rates on weekends. Past dates are slightly shaded, and they reflect final pricing for the date. Any dates that fall into the next month are also shaded. Each date displays your lowest rate for the selected rate and room type. Also shown is the range of lowest rates found for your competitive set. Let's have a look at the median pricing analysis. The default setting is plus and minus 10%. This is used in comparing your rate for each date to the median price across all properties. When no shading is applied to a date in the calendar, it indicates that your rate is within plus or minus 10% of the comp set median rate for that date. In other words, you are priced close to the middle of the range. Green shading indicates a date where the comp set median rate is more than 10% higher than your lowest rate for the date. You might be holding back on rate. Based on your occupancy forecast for the date, are you missing out on an opportunity to push rate for that arrival date? And red shading signifies the comp set median rate is more than 10% lower than your lowest rate for the date. Here, you are pushing rate. Is this in line with your occupancy forecast for the date? If you are interested in the mathematical calculations behind the median pricing analysis, you can review the video on that topic. You'll find it inside Online Help. Closed is displayed for any date where no rate was found that matches your search criteria. There may, however, be rates available for different lengths of stay, different rate types, different booking source, and so on. You can click any date in the calendar to apply rate details for that date to the table below. The table displays each property separately. Each property's rate is ranked versus the others. Symbols will be displayed in these columns to indicate amenity inclusions. Reviewing these helps you stay competitive not only in terms of rate, but rate value. Lowest rate shows the current rate for this arrival date, and the next few columns helps you see whether the rate for this date has changed since yesterday, 3, 7, or 14 days ago. Have your competitors been modifying their rates? If so, is your rate moving along with the market, allowing you to stay competitive? Click this link to track the lowest rate for this date day by day for the past 30 days. This is a more complete, detailed history. We can see the rate at different shopping points for this arrival date and track changes for the past 30 days. When did your competitor change rates and by how much? Have your competitors been reacting to your price changes? When did your competitors close out and at what rate before they closed? Have they reopened inventory? And if so, at what rate? You may discover much about your competitors' pricing strategies by examining their actions over recent weeks. The table view displays the lowest rate found for each property side by side, for each arrival date, for the selected source. Hover over any line to highlight that row, providing easy comparison across all properties for that date. We also begin to get a handle on demand based on the number of closed indicators that we may see, and we do see a few here. Imagine there are several dates on which most of your competitors are closed. What would you do in that situation? Perhaps close out your lower priced tiers and push your rate on those dates. Monitoring the lowest rate is a great starting point. However, you may need to investigate further in order to fully understand what you are competing against before you start making your pricing decisions. Click any rate in the table and select View this rate to view a complete description of that rate, or View all rates, showing a complete list of all available rates this date along with the description of each. Rate descriptions typically include applicable qualifications or restrictions. Are those low rates that you see due to restrictions? Do rates lower than yours represent less desirable room types? Or does your competitor seem to be using rate in hopes of driving occupancy? Are the higher rates that you see for suites? Or do they show that your competitor is pushing rate, indicating a favorable occupancy forecast? Descriptions also usually include a room type, often including room size, bedding, amenities, and inclusions. You might think of this as a virtual site inspection. How does your competitor market their rates? Now, this can be particularly useful for rate descriptions pulled from the GDS, which you likely do not have access to. Many hoteliers put a lot of time and energy working on OTA rate descriptions, but tend to ignore the GDS. How do your rate and room type descriptions look in the GDS? The date and timestamp lets you know exactly when this rate was shopped and uploaded into the database. Some rates are the result of shopping by other properties. Use this navigation bar rather than your browser's back button to return to the previous display. This keeps your filter settings intact. The chart view makes it easy to visually identify whether or not you are positioned correctly based on your occupancy forecast for each date across the selected month. Green bars for each date represent the range of your comp set's lowest rates. The blue dot on each date represents your own lowest rate. Watch for dates where your own rate falls above or below that of your competitors' range. Be sure that you are priced appropriately on such dates. The table below the chart displays for each date in the month your own rate next to the lowest and highest priced competitors' rates. The extended horizon view provides complete flexibility in defining date ranges for your rate comparisons. Use the calendars to select arrival start and end dates. Here again, we see the median pricing analysis, indicated by red and green shading. The default view displays the current rate for each date and property. Use this drop list to add rate changes to the table, an increase or decrease versus yesterday, 3, 7, or 14 days ago. Any rate that has changed shows the amount of the decrease in red or increase in green. Before we explore the other tabs, let's talk about instant shopping. Click the Shop Now button to trigger a real-time shop for the dates highlighted on the calendar for all properties, refreshing the rates within seconds. You can shop from any view on the Pricing tab except Extended Horizon. You can shop any one booking source at a time for any length of stay or guest count allowed by your subscription's shopping profiles, and for the selected month or for the current month, from today through the end of the month. This pop-up indicates your shop is underway. A message will be displayed when shopping is completed or will advise if a problem or delay is encountered during the process. You may continue to navigate through Rate360 while shopping is in progress. Once shopping is completed, the page is refreshed with the new rates. Since the other tabs are pulling from the same database, they are updated as well. If the shopping source is slow in returning rates, you will receive an email when shopping is completed. If the shopping source is currently unavailable, you will be advised to try again later. The timestamp on the page will be updated once the newly collected rates are fed into the database. You can see my screen refreshing now and advising me that everything has been updated. There are a couple of guidelines you should be aware of where instant shopping is involved. You are allowed unlimited real-time shops. However, you must wait 30 minutes to shop again if using the same shopping criteria. Once shopping has commenced, the shop cannot be canceled or stopped. And finally, the Shop Now feature is not available when viewing past dates. The Parody tab enables you to regularly audit your rates and identify rate differences between your brand website, the OTAs, and the GDS systems. It also allows you to check that your lowest rate is available on your brand website. With your brand website serving as the basis for the comparison, you can quickly identify pricing differences. If a green check is seen across all sites, you have parity on that date. An arrow pointing up indicates this site is priced higher than your brand site. An arrow pointing down indicates this site is priced lower than your brand site. Click any arrow to view rate and rate description for that site that date. This is the price that Rate360 found in the GDS and tells me it's $12 less than the price found on my brand website. Use the source filter to include or exclude your choice of booking sites that are displayed in the analysis. The default time period on the Parody report is the next 30 days, but you may use the calendar to adjust the starting date used in the display. Since no competitors' data is included on the Parody report, clicking the Shop Now button on this tab shops your property only for your selected sources according to your current filter settings. All other conditions of Shop Now apply to the Parody tab as well. The Meta report takes your rate comparisons analysis even further, monitoring your pricing across all channels of distribution. TripAdvisor is the supported meta source used for this analysis. It lists the booking channels on TripAdvisor that are currently priced higher or lower than your own brand.com rates. The green check displays for each date for your brand.com unless the closed indicator is displayed. Sites that match your brand rate show the green check as well. If rate or availability do not match, then the red arrows are displayed. You can hover over the green check or an arrow to view the rate and its description. Click the arrow in the TripAdvisor column to view the rates found on the meta site. Click any of the links in the Out of Parody Channels column on the meta search report to be directed to the TripAdvisor website with your property pre-selected with TripAdvisor's default dates. Adjust TripAdvisor's shop criteria to view your desired stay dates and guest count, to compare rates and to investigate pricing differences. Shop Now on the meta report shops your property only for your selected sources and according to the current filter settings. All other conditions of Shop Now apply to this meta tab as well. The Source and Room Types report allows you to compare the lowest rates detailed by booking source. This is a great way to understand your comp set's pricing strategy across different channels or room types. It's an easy way to verify that you are priced correctly across booking sources. Or are you staying competitive when comparing like room types? Here again, you may click any rate to view a description for that rate. You can understand exactly what you are competing against. And you have the added ability to view not only the lowest rate, but all available rates. The number following any rate indicates a rate change. If it's shaded in green, it's an indication that the rate has increased by this amount since the date was shopped 7 days ago. Anything shaded in red indicates that the rate has decreased by this amount since it was shopped 7 days ago. As on the pricing report, it is important you monitor rate movement in your market. Are you in sync with the market? Or are you missing out on any opportunities to push rate? This drop list allows you to change the comparative time period from last week to last year. This enables you to understand whether or not your rates are growing compared to the same time last year. The default time frame on the tab is the next 90 days, but you can use the calendar icons to adjust the table to display any range of arrival dates. This includes the ability to view past dates. So now you can review final historical pricing for those key dates. To adjust the table so that you are comparing rates across different room types, just adjust the view. Now within each date you can view the pricing for different room types across your competitive marketplace. And don't forget your ability to utilize the filters to fine-tune the displayed pricing comparisons to different lengths of stay, different guest counts. Perhaps you want to adjust rate types, room types, and so on. Take advantage of the filters. The Deeper Analysis tab provides access to several additional reports, which offer even more flexibility and details. First, rate changes by source. In addition to monitoring rate changes across your selected booking channels, this report also allows you to customize the threshold parameters that apply alerts to significant rate changes. Competitive differences by source. This report displays the difference between your lowest rate versus each of your competitors. Historical final rates. This report displays the lowest rate available for past arrival dates. The Rate360 database archives your market's historic pricing for 2 years. Rates by length of stay. This report displays lowest available rates based on length of stay for selected arrival dates. If your subscription profile has been configured to shop multiple lengths of stay, they will be displayed here side by side. Similarly, rates by number of guests displays the lowest rates available based on the number of guests for selected arrival dates. Here again, your subscription profile must be configured to shop multiple guest counts in order to be displayed here side by side. And finally, compare rates by restriction type and qualification type. Here's a report that provides extreme flexibility in defining filtering criteria for qualification types and restriction types. Rates are displayed for any 14-day time frame you select for all properties and include rate changes compared to any previous shopping date. I think you'll agree that Rate360 is very easy to use as a quick way of validating your price positioning and strategy. Some recommended next steps. Spend some time exploring Rate360, particularly your filtering capabilities. Start saving your preferred defaults and views on each tab. Examine your lowest rate for each of the next 30 arrival dates. Are you priced wisely? Check for rate differences between your brand site and other booking sources, and check that your brand site shows your lowest available rate. I hope this video has helped you prepare for Rate360. Thank you for watching.